students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professionals, listeners and learners and trainers, professors and professionals. The most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advisors, administrators and advisors, dear friends, you are listening. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. Friends, as you know that in learning any new language, what is the most essential thing? That is to be well commanded of words, thoughts and ideas. If we are well known to words, we can prepare sentences very simply. One idea that comes direct in our mind, we express it as affirmative, assertive, declarative, or in other words, we can say a statement. One idea that comes straight in our mind, we express. In learning any new speaking, 3 is reading and 4 is writing. These are the 4 modules of learning any new language. Perfection of any module, it depends upon our concentration, our association with listening. Listening is the first step of learning. Listeners are basically known as judges, observers, examiners, evaluators. Listening is the first stage of learning any new language, learning any new skill in our life. Second stage, that is speaking. If we are a good speaker, then first we are to be a good listener. 100% listening takes us towards perfection of speaking. So every module of the language needs 100% present sense of mind, devotion, dedication towards the present sense of mind. Only in that case we can understand language, literature and grammar. Language, literature and grammar that we read from the different books of literature, magazines, we learn only by the presence of words. 100% present sense of the word, 100% present sense of mind gives us, provides us nature of learning the language. It is nature that provides us present sense of mind. It keeps us in present, and present is the another name of living God, live online programs. So dear friends, we learn 4 modules of learning language. First is listening, 2 is speaking, 3 is reading, and 4 is writing. Writing any language is the most perfect part of learning. Reading is the most toughest part, but listening is the most easiest part. It is said about the modules of learning any new language. Dear friends, our learners, those who are learning in national and international universities, they know this thing, the concept of all holy religions of our holy land, it starts from nature. Nature gives us the presence of words, and these are the words that are helpful in speaking, reading, writing, and listening about any topic or title. Today, our scholars are able to speak on any topic. It happens due to their present sense of mind. Simply around us, we have 3 things, 3 forms of the things: person, place, and object. If we are to describe any person, then easily we can describe just by observing features of their character. If we are to explain any place, then we imaginatively can describe any place. Simply, if we are to explain our hometown, then we can explain our hometown very easily. Another way, if we are asked to describe any other place, then we can easily describe because of its similarities. So these are the basics, fundamentals of learning any new language. Learning a language is the concept that we learn from our holy scriptures of this holy land. For the perfection of the words, we must have gone through the holy literature of the different words. If we want to know the complete meaning of the word, we can imagine, we can know, we can understand only by going through the original scripture of that language. Similarly, in learning English, it is must to go through the religious or spiritual literature of that language. That will make us more confident, and that will give us the present sense of mind. It is the present sense of mind that provides us naturally speaking, reading, writing, and listening power. We thank God time and again for providing the listening, speaking, writing of the international language, English, science to spirituality, language to literature. It is a journey for learning any new language. And this journey helps us to understand the actual meaning, real meaning, complete meaning of the word. For knowing the complete information from the newspaper, from our books, it is necessary to go through. We must know, we must try to know function of the words, functions of the different grammatical topics. Our scholars of English, those who are doing research, they know this thing that every scholar is learning by downloading, recording, imitating, but these are the outdated technologies, trainings of learning the new language. Today in this modern scenario, our innovative and inventive skills are that makes us imaginative. So imagination is the most powerful weapon in the hands of the learners. We never try to learn after copying, imitating, recording and downloading other things. So it may be helpful on what extent but not completely. For the complete innovation and invention in the language, it is very necessary to be frank in providing the message of the words. Our mind is greatly needed training of learning the new words. New words gives us ample opportunities to read, write, speak and listen English fully. So dear friends, today, now and here, these are the three things that keep us in present for describing any general or specific place. For example, if you are to speak any place, if you are to describe any place, then you must think what is, then when is, then where is, then how is, and ultimately why is. These are the 5 steps for learning, describing, mentioning any person, place and thing. Dear friends, physically and outwardly we can speak 2 to 5 words, 2 to 5 sentences, 2 to 5 minutes because of the presence or availability of the words. These are the words that makes us able to read, write and listen with 100% present sense of mind. Dear friends, all kind of competitive classes, we see common rules of English grammar in the different books. Different publishers publicize their different methodologies to describe the grammatical words and topics. But there are many similarities, commonnesses we find in them. After all, if we understand the concept of the word, concept of noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, modals, then easily we can describe the word. Any word in any text that we read, it makes us able to think what is the word, where do we use the word, when do we use the word, how do we use the word and why do we use the word. So these are the 5 buttons or 5 starters of mind that makes us able to speak frankly, bluntly, to speak spade and spade about anything. Our all English grammarians, learners addressed that any describing anything is a cup of tea because it needs our 100% present sense of mind. Our ideas, our thoughts makes us able to speak. But before that, if we prefer early in the morning, in doing, in speaking, in writing and listening, before that, if we do pranayam, yoga and meditation, then it gives us true presence of the power of speaking, power of reading, power of listening, and power of writing. Writing is the most practical part of learning according to our writers, because in writing our whole body, all mind and our soul becomes active in describing such things. Today, in these days, our scholars are enjoying spending their time in learning extracurriculum activities, in improving their sports activities. It is really a nice time for making our scholars more visionary, revolutionary in their skills, in learning their new manners, styles, standards. So every scholar who keeps himself in present sense of mind, for him air, fire, soil, sky and water, these things becomes a great means to transfer, to transform, to perform any new language. Dear friends, present sense of mind gives us the present sense of God. It is the great thing for learning our scholars, our university scholars, those who are studying in Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, Pennsylvania, Edinburgh, all over the world, in international universities, our scholars are busy in doing research. What is the true research? That is to find out who is speaking, who is reading, who is writing, who is listening, and most important, who is thinking. Then we find that a common spiritual power that always resides with us gives us present sense of mind, makes us able to do true research. True research says us science to spirituality, tells us science to spirituality, language to literature. Our all holy religions that were written by the writers in the present sense of nature, that gives us the imagination, that provides us just to select the topic or title for research. But the true research individually takes us inside. It's fundamentally is the experiment from in to out, not out to in. Our Indian holy culture land makes us nationalistic and patriotistic. Our forefathers, foretellers, forecasters, those who came in India for addressing us, they select this Indian holy land and they sacrificed their whole life for the welfare of society and nation. So these are the really helpful ways for our scholars to know new things. Our Indian holy motherland is a kind of family for us according to all holy religions of this holy land. We appreciate, admire, praise all natural resources of our nation. Dear friends, in the fourth part of learning module, that is writing part. In writing, we need the most inventive and innovative skills, scale, strength of our mind that will make us able to describe the things as per our experiences. As you know that our holy land is known as the starters, beginners and initiators. Simply, if we take the example of writing paragraphs, how to write a good paragraph, what techniques we are to apply in writing an ideal paragraph. General introduction, we read, dear student, paragraph writing or expansion of ideas forms a very important part of syllabus. Usually a sentence, a proverb or an old wise saying is said and the candidate is asked to expand it into a paragraph of the required length. In the next chapter, we shall discuss what a paragraph is, the different techniques of developing it, the principles of paragraph structure, and the various kinds of paragraph writing with examples for easy understanding. Model paragraphs at the end of the chapter will also help the student in familiarizing himself with a wider range of topics. By developing good techniques of paragraph writing, the student will also be able to write better essays and prose compositions, which are broken up into paragraphs to make them interesting and easy to read. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is a series of sentences relating to one particular topic or theme. A paragraph develops a single point or topic. This is usually expressed in a topic sentence, which occurs mostly in the beginning of the paragraph. However, the topic sentence, the sentence carrying the theme of the paragraph can sometimes come at the end or even in the middle of the paragraph. The two most important sentences in the paragraph are the topical sentences, which should arouse the interest of the reader, and the last sentence, which must satisfy it by summing up or by concluding the topic. What are essentials of a good paragraph? One is unity. A good paragraph must have unity. It must contain sentence expressing only one thought or idea. Logically grow out of the preceding one, that is, there should be order and clarity. Second, it needs coherence. There must be a logical sequence of thought and development of subject. Every sentence must logically grow out of the preceding one. That is, there should be order and clarity. Third feature of a good paragraph is that is variety. First is unity, second is coherence, third is variety. The paragraph should not be monotonous with the same kind of sentences. Repetition of words or sentences must be avoided. As stated, the first and last lines in this paragraph must be interesting. Next is limited length. There is no specific rule as to the length of the paragraph, which may depend upon the topic. However, avoid digressions and irrelevance. Especially, you are to note that in examination, students are required to write paragraph of limited length, 150 or 200 words, and they should see to it that they do not exceed the limit. Different kinds of paragraphs we write at the different time from the different topics or titles. Paragraphs can be of three main types depending on the way they are organized. They can be organized through one is chronological sequence, two is spatial relationship, three is class relationship. Let us deal with each of them with examples for better understanding. Chronological sequence. These paragraphs follow an order according to time. They begin with the first event going on, the second, and so on till the last event. Paragraphs which follows a chronological sequence are: one is biographies, life history of great leaders, that is like Mahatma Gandhi gives as an example. Here we trace their life from birth to death, with each event following the other in proper time order. Our daily lives also follow a time order from morning to night. However, sometimes instead of following a chronological sequence, we may start with some event or moment which is more important or which leaves a stronger impression on us. Description of a process of giving directions. Here, a step-by-step procedure is outlined and the time order must be strictly followed. Paragraphs on how to do something. Examples: using a washing machine, preparing some recipe, changing a tire, or giving directions come under this category. It is obvious that time sequence cannot be jumbled here. You have to similarly giving directions should follow the chronological order with words like first turn right, then walk straight till you reach the garden, then take the left turn, etc. Examples of each of these types are here. You are being presented here. For example, write a paragraph of about 150 words on Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi is the father of our nation, born on 2nd October 1869 at Porbandar in Gujarat. His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He studied to be a barrister at law in London. Gandhiji's political awakening and his first use of satyagraha and non-violence can be traced to South Africa. After his return to India from South Africa, he plunged into the freedom struggle. He launched a series of movements: the Savdeshi movement, the civil disobedience movement, the Dandi March or Salt Satyagraha, and the Quit India movement in 1942, which finally culminated in India's independence from British rule on August 15, 1947. His work for the upliftment of women and untouchables, his policy to encourage village and cottage industries are as relevant today as they were then. A firm believer in Hindu-Muslim unity and the equality of all religions, he was deeply stunned and saddened by the partition of India. Mahatma Gandhi was shot dead on January 13, 1948 by a Hindu fanatic. Its Samadhi, Rajghat in Delhi, draws hundreds of people from India and abroad every year. Next, if you are to write a paragraph, if you are to describe a brief paragraph, how you wash clothes in a washing machine. To wash clothes in a washing machine, first plug the washing machine to the nearest electrical point. Next, fill the washing machine with water till the level marked in the tub. Add soap powder and turn the switch on so that a rich lather forms. Now turn off the switch and add the clothes, taking care to button up shirts so that they don't get entangled with one another. Turn the switch on and set the time for 3 times. The washing machine will automatically stop after 3 minutes. Drain the soap water and fill with fresh water before starting the machine again. Once the clothes are well rinsed, put them in the dryer for drying. Do not forget to drain the water from the washing machine and clean it well. Unplug the washing machine till next use. Thus the wonderful machine washes and dries our clothes in minutes. Dear friends, if we are to describe any personality, then there are some common features of the personalities. According to the common words, we can describe by the availability of the words. From the Sarojini Naidu bus stop near your house, take bus number 514. Alight at the last stop at Malviya Nagar, commonly known as the Gol Chakkar stop because of the circle. The conductor will help you in identifying the stop. As soon as you alight, you will see a broad road to your right with a corner shop selling milk, bread, etc. Take this road and walk straight along it. You will pass a Mother Dairy milk booth on your right and a garden. After you pass the second garden, known as Bhagat Singh Park, take the first right turn. The road is easily identifiable as the new house is being constructed in the corner. After you turn right, the fifth house on the left side of the street is ours. You can ask anyone for house or ask for Vinay and you will be led to my house which faces the Bhagat Singh Park. So this is a kind of description. However, we can describe about any personality. For example, if you write about your memories of my school days, how will you start the paragraph, how you will prepare the body of the paragraph, and how you will conclude the paragraph. These are the most technical steps that are to be followed by the writer. School days were one of the most exciting period of my life. Meeting friends every day, going to school together, Studying and fighting were all very exciting. Also sports, debates, essay competition, cultural programs and such activities have left sweet memories of my school days. One of the sweetest memories of my school days being awarded the best student of the year during the last year in my school. I can very well remember my friends cheering me all the ways to the stage. The principal patting my back as a mark of appreciation and the pride and joy in my parents' eyes. The party the students organized on Teachers' Day when I was in the 6th standard in another sweet memory. The teachers had a pleasant surprise and were extremely pleased with our efforts in entertaining them. Not all memories, however, were sweet. I can still remember the first day in school. When I had gone to give a test, I was petrified, nervous, and overawed by the silent corridors and the headmistress who looked so threatening with a scale in her hand. Later, of course, I grew to respect and admire her. I cannot forget the memory of my first punishment either. When I was in the 2nd standard, I was told to stand up on the bench for the continuously talking with the student next to me instead of paying attention to the teacher. Thus, there are many memories, both pleasant and unpleasant, of my school days. So, how you can describe your past? Our past, it is rightly said that our present lies in the past. So our past, our history is very important for describing any new thing, any title. Spatial relationships, paragraphs which describe location of places or the layout of a particular area deal with space relationships. Describing the physical features of an area or a set of objects like laboratory equipment involves spatial relationships. Usually, such a paragraph will include description of the dimensions, height, length and breadth, that is, etc. Directions, whether east, west, up or down. Shape, rectangular, square, cylindrical, etc. An area can be described from top to bottom or side to side. There are some of the examples. India is a peninsula surrounded on the 3 sides by the sea. To the west is the Arabian Sea, to the east the Bay of Bengal, and to the south is the Indian Ocean. The north is guarded by the great Himalayan ranges. New Delhi is the capital of India. It is situated in the north. The most important city in the west is Mumbai, which is the commercial capital. Kolkata is situated in eastern India, while Chennai in South India. From Kashmir at the top of the Kanyakumari, at the bottom is more than 2000 kilometers. To the north and northwest of India is Pakistan. To the northeast, India is bordered by China and Nepal, while the eastern border in Bangladesh and Burma. Dear friends, description of an equipment. A weather station is a place where all the elements of weather are measured and recorded. Each station has an equipment known as Stevenson screen. It contains 4 thermometers which are used from a frame in the center of a screen. They are maximum and minimum thermometer and dry bulb and wet bulb thermometers. A wet bulb thermometer is actually a dry bulb thermometer which dips into a container of water. The television screen is a wooden box whose four sides are lowered to allow the free entry of air. The roof is made of double boarding to prevent the sun's heat from reaching the inside of the screen, and insulation is further improved by painting the outside while the screen is placed on stand about 121 cm above ground level. Apart from these examples, paragraphs on spatial relationships include layouts of a particular areas. For example, the area you live in or the university campus, etc. In such cases, it is better to give your description with relation to a certain landmark, such as the university administrative building or the shopping center in your area. You can then proceed by saying to the left of the library or behind, so on. You will find more examples in the class in the model paragraphs. Class relationships. Ideas in a paragraph can be organized by classifying them into groups. Instead of establishing the time-space relationship, classifications are usually based on similarities between a set of things. One can classify on the basis of many things: size, race, religion, price, name, etc. But once you have adopted a type of classification, stick to it. For example, if you have decided to classify the people of India according to religion, you should stick to the same particular throughout the paragraph and not switch over to some other criteria like language midway. These are the paragraphs that you will listen now. Major religions of India. India is a land of religions. Many great religions have organized here, that is Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism. Hinduism is the oldest religion of India. It was practiced by the Aryan settlers and is the religion followed by a majority of Indians today. Based on polytheism, Hinduism has often been described as not merely a religion but a way of life. Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism found by Siddhartha, the prince of Kapilvastu, who attained enlightenment in both Gaya and came to be called Buddha. Buddhism had spread to many countries of the Far East. Mahavir was the 24th and most important Tirthankar of the Jain religion. Like Buddhism, Jainism too preaches peace and non-violence. Guru Nanak was the founder of the Sikh religion, and Guru Gobind Singh, its the 10th leader, gave it. The Khalsa Islam and Christianity were the two religions which came into India from the outside. Islam was spread by Muslim invaders who came from the North Mongolia and the Arab countries, while Christianity was brought in by the European missionaries who set up many scholars and charitable institutions in India. The two main sects of Islam are the Shias and Sunnis, which Christianity's two main sects are the Catholics and the Protestants. The Parsis, or the followers of Zoroaster, also form a religious groups in India. Next, dear friends, you are listening unemployment, which is the most blunt issue today in front of our youngsters. Second one is rising prices. One is unemployment. Unemployment is one of the major problems facing India today. There are different kinds of unemployment such as structural unemployment, classical employment, or unemployment caused by deficiency of corporate resources, seasonal unemployment, and disguised unemployment. Lack of corporate lack of corporate factors is one of the major types of unemployment existing in India. Labor remains unemployed because either capital or land or other corporate resources are lacking. Structured employment is caused by a permanent fall in the demand of certain product. For example, a permanent fall in the demand of kerosene lamps with the use of electricity everywhere. Seasonal unemployment is mainly a feature of agrarian economies where labor is often idle after the harvesting season is over. Disguised unemployment is also a feature in the agriculture sector where there are more people working on the same piece of land than it can support. It is called disguised unemployment because though they appear to be employment on the farm, they are not really adding to the total value of the produce. Rather, the same work which was being done by, say, two people is now being disturbed among four. Our family education system, which lacks job orientation, is also a major cause of unemployment. The government is trying to solve the problem of unemployment through many schemes and policies. In the foregoing section, students have been familiarized with the various kinds of paragraphs. All the paragraphs above that we have read provides technique to develop the points how to develop a good paragraph. Dear friends, today in this modern time, in the presence of the most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji, India is grown up in the field of sports, education, agriculture, industry, means of transportation, means of communication, railways, post office. Overall, India is growing in all the fields of manufacturing. India is starting new startups today. India is growing. India is going to become creator, not seekers. As per the provocation of our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, India is celebrating its many Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and when India will complete its 100 years after independence, India will become explorer, exposer and exporter. You see, you observe that after many ups and downs, India has brought its reputation at the international level. In the history we read that in 19th and 20th century period, there was revolution in industrialization. What happened? People became peaceless. In the end of the 18th century period, we read that after French Revolution, worldly people turned towards the nature, forgetting the true happiness or peace. Likely that today the whole world is running after in the revolution of information technology. Everyone is collecting, counting, calculating others, but not counting the blessings of Lord or God inside the human body. That's the great lack today. So it is the great need of this present time. Let us go towards nature. Nature never betray, never deceive, cheat, beat and defeat, but nature is always friendly and familiar with us. For improving the environment and atmosphere, for increasing the level of oxygen in the environment, it is very necessary to plant more and more trees. Every citizen of India should plant a tree, should fill the water atmospherically and environmentally. We have to make stronger our nation by having the present sense of mind, by having the present sense of spiritual values and moral values, ethical values of this nation for the betterment and upliftment of our nation. Dear friends, it is said by our own holy fathers of this holy land, all spiritual starters, social reformists, those who came in India like Swami Vivekananda, who born in 1863, and Mahatma Gandhi born in 1869, Swamiji Vivekananda who started Ramakrishna Mission and went to the USA in 1893. It was the end of the 19th century period, where there was also the establishment of Congress in 1885. So, after 1857, the first India had to struggle for freedom. It takes 100 years. Just after the completion of 100 years, there was the freedom in the hands of the people. Just after 90 years, as per the declaration by Swami Vivekananda, as per the autobiography of our forefather, foreteller, forecaster, Swami Vivekananda, who addressed and adopted the path of idolatry for a long time, but when he went interviewed inside his human body, he got the truth of spirituality. He intervened and he interviewed with that super spiritual power of God. Then he left the idolatry practices and worshipped this holy motherland, and he brought name fame for its betterment. With head, hand and heart, he devoted and dedicated towards holy motherland for making our youngsters more nationalistic, more patriotistic. So it is the great need for our nation to make our youngsters rejuvenated, regenerated and reoperated. Swamiji addressed worldly people by saying that return to the Vedas. Our Vedas are the first and most greatest, simplest scripture of the holy words of all holy religions. So it is the starting and it is the ending.